This is Michael Carson. I wanted to follow up on my last video of Britain becoming a broken home global leader along with the U.S. here. So we want to go back to let's make marriage matter. That's what I want to do here in this video. See, the thing is the U.S. and the U.K. are on the same trajectory. They're just at different points. The UK is probably farther along in terms of total destruction compared to the US. Want to fix the birth dearth? Make marriage matter. And it's by Melanie Israel on March 19th. And like I said, it's by Melanie Israel. I'm going to read her little bio thing here. Melanie Israel is a visiting fellow at the DeVos, not Davos, the DeVos Center for Life, Religion, and Family at the Heritage Foundation. I mean, she actually cares about kids, cares about the well-being of the family, things of that nature. A new report from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention about the birth data for 2023 is out. This is for the U.S., but it pretty much applies to all Western countries in decline on the birth rate side. For everyone concerned about the long-term decline of America's birth rate, the report doesn't show strong signs that much has changed. Why should we care about declining birth rates? What's driving the trend? As a recent Heritage Foundation report warns, U.S. fertility is now below replacement. Fewer births and our historic low fertility rate will affect the future economy. It will affect programs like Social Security. Don't forget the military. What about caregiving as the elderly age? A declining population will affect our nation's future in more ways than we can count. And this applies pretty much to all Western countries in a birth rate decline. And the globalists are trying to make up for it by importing Sharia law followers, essentially. And it's going to backfire eventually. Unless they magically get AI and replace everybody with robots. Whatever. If you ask 10 people why the number of births keep going down, you'll probably get 10 different answers. From housing and childcare costs to economic anxiety to student loan debt. While there's not one sole reason and therefore not one single policy solution, at the heart of the issue is marriage. Fewer marriages specifically. Fewer Americans are getting married, and those who do are getting married later, which in turn delays having kids and how many they will eventually have. My colleagues recently published a special report analyzing trends in marriage, childbirth, childbearing, and other important factors of American family life. In it, they note, today, married couples make up less than half, 47% of U.S. households. 40% of children are born outside of marriage, and the birth rate has reached its lowest recorded level. The age of first marriage has increased by about 7 years for both sexes. More adults ages 18 to 44 have cohabitated, 59%, than have been married, 50%. Marriage itself has been legally redefined nationwide with the Supreme Court's Obergefell versus Hodges decision in a way that rejects fundamental link between marriage and childbearing. In fact, for a growing and influential segment of the country, even defining man and woman seems to be an impossible task. Yeah, because that's what they're doing with the LGBT group there. They want to, you can't define marriage because you can't define a man and a woman, and then you can't define the gender of a child. I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. It's destroying everything. Healthy marriages help establish stable families and a thriving civil society. And no, cohabitation does not provide the same stability and benefits for adults and children as marriage. That is true. Separating marriage plus having children has changed the structure of family formation for the worse. Yeah, because the child is not getting proper attention, not learning. They're becoming more rebellious. They're more prone to get into drugs, more prone to do criminal acts. It just leads to a downward spiral. For all attention that solving the birth dearth gets, pronatalism is not enough. It is not enough to look for policies and technology, and some technology with serious ethical concerns, that encourages or assists people to reproduce. Addressing healthy marriages has to be front and center of policy proposal. There is no one-size policy to help people enter a healthy marriage and keep it that way. One way to help is using and building on existing funding and programming at the state and federal level. But government programs can't fix decades of cultural forces that have minimized or dismissed the importance of coupling, sex, marriage, and childbearing together. The decline in marriage rates didn't happen overnight, just as the decline in births didn't happen overnight. Yeah, it's been going on since the 1960s. The feminist revolution in the 1960s basically created the problem we're in today. It slowly just eroded stuff when you think about it. I mean, I'm all for women having freedom of choice and all that, but when you want to have a child, it takes both the mother and the father to raise a child. You can't have a gender imbalance for a child because they miss out, they don't learn properly. Men and women both have different ways of doing things. Continuing on. Put frankly, it took a long time to make the mess we're in, and it'll take time to clean it up too. We can debate the merits of things like student loan forgiveness, housing benefits, child care subsidies, and tax credits. But the most meaningful, effective way to address declining birth rates is to reorient society to value family formation within stable, healthy marriages. Want to address the birth dearth? Let's show our fellow Americans and fellow Westerners that marriage matters. And that is the end of the article. I would argue, let's show our fellow Westerners that marriage matters. That's what that last line should read. Because the problem isn't limited to America, isn't limited to the United Kingdom, isn't limited to New Zealand, isn't limited to Australia, isn't limited to Japan. Even China's having problems because they did their one-child policy and it kind of screwed things up. A lot of places have this issue, and bringing in people from Middle Eastern cultures does not make things better. If you enjoyed this video, please consider watching another video, like it on your way out, and have yourself a wonderful day. Again, thank you for watching. Please consider watching another video. Like and share so the videos get traction, and I appreciate it, and have yourself a wonderful day.